Hi everyone. So today, we are going to discuss about the second major challenge to the Indian economy. Now in the initial class, I have said about that Indian economy is facing three types of different challenges, and one among them is poverty. So when we talk about challenges to the Indian economy, we will cover this in detail about the poverty, different types of poverty. So I have told you that there are three types of challenges. First is poverty, then there is unemployment. Unemployment means when you are not able to get a job. So we will deal that in the next class. And in the previous class we have talked about inflation. Now you have to remember that inflation was one of the problems which we have discussed. It was one of the key challenges to the Indian economy. Okay, now if you remember about inflation, you will be able to relate inflation with the poverty, because when inflation increase, the rate of poverty also increase, alright, because inflation directly impacts the poverty. Now talking about the second major problem or the challenge to the Indian economy is poverty. So what is poverty? Poverty is a form of economic deprivation, or when a person is not having money or property so that he can fulfill his basic requirement of living. So if a person is not able to meet the minimum requirement of living, we call a person as poor. So poverty means poor persons or those persons which are below poverty line, or they are often termed as BPL people, because they are below the poverty line. They cannot afford goods and services which can satisfy their the basic requirement of living. Now poverty is of two types. One is absolute and relative. Now absolute and relative both are different, and relative poverty is something which is better with respect to if you take into account absolute poverty. So what is absolute poverty? The absolute poverty, so in absolute poverty you set a limit, you set a benchmark that if you fall below this, if you are not able to satisfy, or there is a basket of goods, if you are not able to afford that basket of goods, you are poor. So in absolute poverty, what is there? So it is a minimum level of requirement for living. So there is a minimum level of requirement. If a person is not able to satisfy that minimum level, a person is considered as poor. So minimum level of requirement for living are fixed in case of absolute poverty, and if individual is not able to meet or fulfill that minimum requirement, then an individual is considered as a poor individual. So absolute poverty is all about, you fix a minimum limit. If a person is not able to satisfy it, he is poor. Relative poverty is different. In relative poverty, we compare two individuals or sections of society or countries. So in relative poverty, it is a measure of relative dissimilarities in income and wealth distribution between various sections of society. So what happens in relative poverty is you take two countries and measure what is the poverty, relative poverty in between them. So in relative poverty, you look at the relative dissimilarities. So if two individuals are there, one is earning 1,000 rupees, another is earning 2,000 rupees. So who is relatively more poor? A person is more relatively poor. So similarly, you look at the relative poverty, you compare two individuals, you compare two different nations. So relative poverty is all about measuring relative dissimilarities in income wealth distribution between various sections of society. So this is about poverty. Now we will look at how to measure poverty, or what were the commission's reports, etc. How poverty was measured. So we basically call it as poverty estimation. So number of committees were set up like Dandekar, Rath and Rangarajan committee, Tendulkar committee. We will discuss all of them. Estimation of poverty. So the first estimation of poverty in India was done by Dadabhai Naoroji. And later on number of committees were set up. So Dadabhai Naoroji In 1868, estimated the poverty in India. Later on, after India got independence, number of economists took the task of estimating the poverty, and so in that respect, in 1971, Dandekar and Rath, or V.N. Dandekar and Neelkant Rath. So we basically call it as Dandekar and Rath. Neelkant Rath, Dandekar and Rath in 1971 defined the poverty line. Then in 1979, Alak committee report came. Okay, so first is in 1971, Dandekar and Rath defined the criteria for poverty, and in 1979, Y.K. Alak committee report was presented. Now this committee report led to formation of the Y.K. Alka committee report, led to formation of the consumption based poverty line. So the Y.K. Alka committee report was presented and consumption based poverty line was formed. Consumption based poverty line. In consumption based poverty line, calorie intake was focused. So it led to calorie intake. So in the consumption based poverty line, calorie intake was considered. So a fixed calorie intake was defined, like if an individual is earning so much calorie, he is not poor. If he is getting less than that calorie, he is poor. So when we look at the Y.K. Alga committee report, different calorie was rates were defined. So with respect to calorie intake, it was 2400 calorie, okay, intake, and then it was 2400 for urban area and 2100 for rural area. So if a person is getting less than 2400 calories per day, so this is about per day. So if an individual is getting less than 2400 calorie, when you eat food you get calorie. So if a person is getting less than 2400 calorie per day, then you are poor. If you are living in rural area, if your calorie intake is less than 2100 calorie, then you are poor. But if it is more than that, you are not poor. So this was the consumption based poverty line. Alright, now later on, Tendulkar committee and Rangarajan committee report came. So we will examine that. So then came the Suresh Tendulkar and Rangarajan committee report. So both of them were about the poverty line. Now both the Tendulkar committee and Rangarajan committee took the consumption expenditure route. So they looked at the consumption expenditure, yani how much individual is spending on consumption of goods, on consumption expenditure for poverty determination. So they took food and non-food item into consideration. Now, so the Suresh Tendulkar committee, so if you look at the Suresh Tendulkar committee, the rates were rupees 1000 per month, per capita, per month. Okay, it was per month, per capita. for urban area and rupees 816 per month per capita for rural area. Okay, so if you look at the Suresh Tendulkar committee report, the Suresh Tendulkar and Rangarajan, as I said, they both looked at consumption expenditure, यानी individuals non-food और food items पे कितना खर्च कर रहे हैं. Okay, so they defined their limits. So first was they took consumption expenditure into consideration, and now poverty was estimated through consumption expenditure too. Here, Suresh Tendulkar said that if a person is spending less than rupees 1000 per month, so we are talking about an individual. So if an individual is spending less than rupees 1000 per month per capita on consumption expenditure, then he is poor. So that is for urban area. So for urban area it was rupees 1000, and for rural area it is 1816, rupees 816. So if a person living in rural area is spending more than 816 per month on food and non-food item, okay, then he is considered not poor. So you should spend at least this much, then you won't be qualified as poor. So this is about the per capita expenditure on food. So it is per capita consumption expenditure. For rural area it is 816, and for urban area it is 1000. So this was with respect to Tendulkar committee. Now if you apply both of these, then you will get that the number of poor in India, so as per Tendulkar committee, 22% of country's population was poor. 22% of country's population was poor. So as per Tendulkar committee, 22% of country's population was poor. Whereas for Rangarajan committee, the poverty line which they set up, it was also the minimum amount which they fixed. So for urban and rural, we will see. This is also per capita consumption expenditure. So for here it was 1407, and so it was per capita. So rupees 1407 per capita, and for there it was 972 rupees 972. For rural areas it was also per capita per month. So both of them are monthly basis. So if a person is spending less than rupees 1407 on consumption expenditure, if it is less than that, then he is poor. If it is more than 1407, he is not poor. So this is the poverty line. You can say this is the limit, that if you are earning less than, if you are spending more, if you are spending less than 1407 on consumption expenditure, you are poor. If you are spending more, then you are not poor. So it is how much you are spending. In case of urban area, in case of rural area, the poverty line was fixed at rupees 972. So we basically call it as a poverty line both in urban and rural area based on whichever committee you take. If you take Rangarajan committee, the poverty line was rupees 1407. So these numbers, these are the poverty line. Okay, so this is poverty line. So rupees 1407 per capita for urban area, and rural area 972 per capita in a month. Both of them are for month, per capita for rural area. So these are the poverty line as per Rangarajan committee, and for Tendulkar committee the poverty line is rupees 1000 per month per capita for urban areas and rupees 816 per capita per month for rural areas. Now these were the Rangarajan committee. So as per the Rangarajan committee, if you take these into this poverty line, then 30% of country's population is poor. So 30% of country's population is poor. If you take Rangarajan committee estimates, and if you take Suresh Tendulkar committee estimates, 22% of country's population is poor. So this is about the estimation of poverty. This is very, very important. In the question answers as well, there is a question regarding estimation of poverty. So you can write this answer there. Now we will look at what are the, before this, there is, before this, one important thing is about multi-dimensional poverty index. Now this multi-dimensional poverty index, it is also known as MDPI. So multi-dimensional poverty index, launched in 2007. Oxford Poverty, okay, they prepared this index. Now this index tells us about the poor, how much poor they are. So if a person is poor, how much poor he is. So multidimensional poverty index tells us about poors among the poors. Now this is widely used. It has 3 indicators. So on basis of 3 indicators, it calculates the poverty rate. And then we have World Bank poverty line, etc. Now we will look at the causes of poverty, like why poverty is there, like what are the reasons why it is there. Before starting that, there in the book there is a definition about recall period. Okay, so what is this recall period? Recall period, it is used when poverty data is collected. So in recall period, you are asked कि in the past 30 days how much expenditure you did on food item. यानी पिछले 30 दिनों में, पिछले महीने आपने कितने एक्सपेंडिचर किया फूड पे, नॉन फूड पे, या पिछले साल आपने कितना एक्सपेंडिचर किया फूड नॉन फूड पे. So उस पीरियड को you call it recall period. It is used by NSSO to collect data. Okay. Now talking about causes of poverty, the first number of causes are there. First will be social cause. In social cause, now this talks about, that says that because of the typical Indian society, the way our society is, certain sections of community remain at their level. They are not able to uplift them because society does not allow them to reach higher level. So this basically tells us because of our societal structure, certain communities are not able to develop because opportunities are not available to them in sufficient amount. So with respect to social cause, that we know that India is divided into so in India, basically the society is divided into number of castes, communities. Now there are certain communities which are marginalized community. Certain communities are marginalized community. Now because they are marginalized community, now they are in that position from hundreds of years, or some communities are in that position from so long, and because of that the they have lower level of education, okay, they have lower level of skill because they don't have sufficient income. Now because they are in the marginalized section, the society, certain sections of society does not allow them to reach higher level, okay, the society does not allow them to develop. So this is one of the reason, one of the social cause of poverty. Okay, in the book there is a separate paragraph given, you can read it and you can write that as well. So a social cause. Then you have economic causes. The economic causes concerns about the money. So with respect to economic cause, now this was because of the economic backwardness of economy and both of the people. Now because of economic backwardness, people are not able to afford health and education. Now as they are not educated, they are not healthy, they lack skill. Now because they lack skill, they don't get employment and thus they are economically backward, or they remain in that vicious cycle. Now because you don't have money, you cannot afford education, you don't have skill, you cannot get job. So you are trapped in that circle or cycle. So you are trapped in that cycle that you are not able to escape it. So that is one of the reasons, economic cause. Second is agricultural growth has been slow. Because of the low agricultural growth, sufficient employment opportunities are not there. So low agricultural growth is also one of the reasons. Low agricultural growth. Because of the low agricultural growth, jobs are not available. Jobs are very less or not available. Now because of that, people remain economically backward. So this is about the economic causes. Then the third will be political causes. In political causes, we will be dealing with the schemes. Political cause. Now, political cause. Political causes में lack of political will, lack of political will means the politicians, they don't implement the scheme in a proper manner because they don't have a will that sufficient. Some politicians do have, but they don't implement a particular policy in a proper manner, and so there are certain loopholes. Okay, lack of political will is there, so they are not much interested about implementing the policy in a much efficient manner. So loopholes are there. Now, because of loopholes, the loopholes are there in policies. So, lack of political will, loopholes are there in the policies, in the welfare policy. Welfare policies can be like NREGA, where employment is given, or pension, which people get. Now, because of the loopholes, disadvantaged people, so certain sections who are to get the benefit, so certain sections who are beneficiary means that they are entitled for their benefits. Certain sections who are beneficiary of the policy do not get it, do not get the benefit of policy. Now this is because of loopholes and lack of political will. So the welfare policies, so in political causes we are dealing with policies. So these policies are not implemented properly. The poor people don't have access to it, and this is one of the reasons, because few people, so a sizable number of poor in our country are not having access to certain welfare policies which can change their life, and this is because of lack of political wills and loopholes. Then we have other causes. Okay. Then we have other causes. In other causes, we have like less jobs, low skill, then low productivity, etc. Now, because of these, people don't have they don't have access to sufficient income and are trapped in the poverty circle. Now, we will quickly look at